Yay. Okay, GSEMP, March, second call of the month of March. And we devoted February and April to the relationship between the masculine and feminine energy in us, the left and right side, also better understood as all the potential within you, being the feminine energy, and the actual fulfillment and actualization and structurization of that potential in order to bring it into the world as the masculine energy. And I had a nice little, I don't have to call it like not an epiphany, but I had a moment earlier today of realizing like, oh, we're gonna finish each theme by doing one call in relation to one of the sides we're working on, which right now we're doing left, right, with meditation connecting with the core star, so that we can go all the way deep into the core star and actually feel how the core star energy flows, like the quality of how it flows between the right and the left side of the body. Because we're doing masculine, feminine right now, and then in the next 2 months, we're going to do either front, back, as in will and emotion, or top down. I'm not sure yet, but so we're always going to end a 2-month cycle working with one of the axial planes with doing a meditation with the core star, so that we can kind of bring that essence, bring that divine essence energy like into the work we've already done. So that was like, ooh, yay. I love the idea of us going into the core star tonight and spending like a good hour just connecting to that level, that deepest, deepest level of being. But before we go to the core star, I just want to say a couple more things about that understanding of potential and fulfillment energy and the interplay between them. When we think of, feminine energy, it's the energy, it's the raw potential, it's all the different things that could be. And the natural momentum of such, like a quantum soup of possibilities is to want to expand. Like it's all the potentials. Of course they want to come up. Of course they want to have room to expand. And that basic wounding to the feminine energy of am I worthy of expanding? Do I have enough worthiness to be received in my expansion and to take up some room and actually have structures serve my expansion? So that's the wounding that the feminine carries as, I'm afraid I'm going to be too much. I'm afraid I'm not worthy. I'm afraid I'm going to get crushed. I'm afraid this. I'm afraid that. I'm afraid of asking. I'm afraid of wanting. Like I'm afraid of wanting more. So that's what the feminine is going through, and the masculine is the structure. The masculine is the energy that becomes a structure that can hold that feminine energy, and not only hold it, but fulfill it. Create a structure that's so expansive and loving that all that energy can go in there and make that structure become alive. Fill it up and feed it. Just feed it with life so that these structures become living structures. We have a lot of examples in our world of structures that do not serve life. They confine it, they constrict it, they contain it, but if you look in nature, you see what life supportive structures look like. They're everywhere in nature. It is shown to us, whether it be, a tree, a river, an ocean. Everything is there to show us what healthy living structures look like. And when they are healthy, all the life can go in them. Like an ocean that's super healthy is full of life, full of teeming life, all these potentials, all these, like different species that can proliferate and multiply. And so we've got that masculine energy that creates the structures that allow for life to thrive, that allow for life to fill them up. And the basic wounding of the masculine energy is powerlessness and fear of annihilation, which is basically the same thing. Like, it fears being annihilated. It fears that the structure that it's created will crumble and topple down, and it will be responsible for killing life, you know? So, you've got that feminine energy that's like, I'm not sure if I'm worthy of having life. And that male energy is like, maybe I'm too strong and I will hurt life. And then I will be annihilated for having done that. And all of this is, of course, playing itself within our own psyche, within our own body, within our own field, within our own soul. It's like multi-layered. And something I wanted to mention tonight is an example of a structure that no longer serves life. The example I want to hone in on before we go into course or anything is the concept of habits. It's like we don't think about that very often, but what is a habit? Most of the time, a habit is désuet. Like, habits become these like automated behaviors that we have, and we're kind of like, most of the time we're stuck in them. They have become habitual. They have become a source of how we feel safe. If you think about, like, there's a whole bunch of them we can mention that are more like, really negative and kind of addictive and this and that. But even some super basic ones, they
Obsolete was the word you were looking for.
yeah, these very obsolete. Yeah. They don't serve us anymore. They don't serve the pure flow of the expression of our potentials. Yeah, what if you get up one morning and what the potential in you would want to do is something completely different from what you normally do? Most of us have, like, there's structures in place, there's habits in place, and these things, we end up needing to do these things in order to, okay, I gotta have a good start to my day. Okay, maybe now I can go do that thing that's out of my routine or whatever. So it's a good idea to kind of like look over a little bit. What are some of the habits in your life? And which of those habits actually support your ability to connect to the potentials that want to emanate from you? Which of these habits allow you to have a space in which, potentials can emerge and you have the necessary, let's say, I don't know what the right word, ability to fulfill that? So if I think I have a really, it's not a very good example, but someone I used to be in a relationship with was a man of routine so much that it was like, to even bring up, let's do something spontaneous, let's do something completely different, was a source of anxiety that would lead to him being angry. And I remember looking at that sometimes and being like, there's no room. There's no room there for the energy to flow. Like, and I'd have these weird examples in my head. I was like, so what if the world ends tomorrow? What are you going to do then? Like, it's just, can't help yourself with people that are stuck in routines too much. You just want to like, oh yeah, well, what if, But, our habits should not be sources of constriction of life and potential. If we're going to have habits, ideally, you even kind of like work on getting rid of most of them, you know? If we're going to have habits, let them be supportive. Let them be supportive of the expansion of your life. Let them be supportive of you having time to allow deeper potentials to come up in you. So if I give an example here of something like that, like if you create a habit where twice a day you give yourself 30 minutes to 1 hour where it's just free time. This is super interesting. That's one of my mentors taught me that at a certain point. He's like, your calendar of things to do should have slots for unstructured time. And I was like, the unstructured time is just when there isn't something to do. And he was like, no, your calendar should have specific moments. It's like this is unstructured time. This is time when I meditate and I play and I just ponder and contemplate. Like, boom, put that in the calendar. And well, I remember at the time I was just like, wow, that makes no sense. My calendar is for getting shit done, you know? And but that is getting something done. That is creating a habit, creating a space that is for the deeper creativity in you to know that it matters enough to you enough that you actually put time in the calendar for it. You actually put time in your calendar for your creative time, for the time where you just kind of like go in and connect to, hey, what feels like emerging out of me today? And I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to just hang out with that. And at the same time, it's like, what feels like emerging? And then, maybe little ideas pop up, that's creative time is amazing for that. When you let it happen, it'll start flowing. And then, okay, now masculine energy. How can I go about bringing that into the world? What are the first steps? How can I fulfill this potential? What can I do about this right now? So I challenge you in a very soft, spiritual, easygoing way to create that, to create time slots, to actually put that in your calendar. I would like you to also put time in your calendar that's about rest and digest only, but that's another story. Time for creative flow. And you're not allowed to go put something else in there. That's not a slot in the calendar that's there as a wishful thinking, but if something else happens, then you've got time there and you can just go fill that up with, another client or whatever, no, don't do that. Use that masculine energy to create a structure, a slot in the calendar that is there for the feminine energy to fill it up. So maybe one day I'll show you my calendar. It kind of looks like that. I've got different colors and things going on, and a very good practice to develop. And at the same time, consider habits that you have that does that really serve me to keep that habit? And understand that the thing with the habit is that you feel safe with the habit. And so the masculine energy in its wounded like expression is afraid of being annihilated, is afraid that the structures it's built are going to be destroyed. But the reality is the only way you can build new structures that are better is if you destroy the old ones. Or else you're going to be working with a shitty foundation and a bunch of scaffolding, weird stuff, and it's going to look monstrous. And at the end of the day, it's not going to hold. So that allowing yourself to destroy things that you have, structures you have created in the past, so you can build new ones, is an essential part of life. Nature does it all the time too. Nature does it all the time too. And it keeps it healthy. Just like these weird forest fires that crack open seeds that would have never sprouted without that, or freaking hurricane madness stuff happens, and all of a sudden all these nutrients, all these things have moved around. Like there is a lot of life involved in structures being destroyed that allow new ones to be built. So what structures could you break? What could you destroy in your life that would actually create new room, that would actually create a space for you to allow some deeper longings to come up and say, hey, I'd really like to do this. I would like us to add this in our life. And be like, ooh, Okay, how how can I go about creating a structure where that can happen? Chances are you're going to need to undo a couple of the existing ones. So, yeah, it's such an interesting concept, such a beautiful way to work with your masculine and feminine energies. Let me use my masculine energy to create a structure in which my feminine energy knows that it comes in to fill it, that creative time. The feminine energy comes in to fill that time, to fill that space. And the masculine energy's job is to be receptive and to hold the space and to listen to what's emerging, listen to the potential that wants to come, that wants to come up to surface and be received, and know that it is worthy of being received, and know that it is worthy of being fulfilled. Hmm. Yes, 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 yes. I think that's all I want to say about the feminine masculine polarity tonight. We are still in this process right now where we're working on feeling, discerning, and feeling how our energies flow between the right and left side of our body. The right side being that fulfillment, structuring energy, the left side being the energy, potential, all the potentials, all the creativity wanting to emerge side. And as I said, I want to play with the core star tonight. And yes, everyone on this call has done core star work with me before. Oh, no need to go too deep into explaining. But just as a little mini recap, there are 4 levels to our being. From the outer to the inner, your physical body. Your physical body is the most made manifest level of your being. What holds the physical body is your energetic bodies and your aura, the central line, the chakras, the subtle bodies. That's called your psycho-emotional level / reality. Even deeper than that level, there's the hera line, which is your intentional field, which is often seen as it's a golden thread. The deepest longings of your soul are in your soul seat. And there's a connection to the Tantien, which is below your belly button, which is what all martial artists work with as the true center of gravity of the body. And it's a line that goes all the way down to the molten core of the earth and all the way up to the Godhead. And that is literally, that is your soul. That is how your soul is incarnated on the earth, the intentional field that holds it together, the dreams and longings it has, and the Tantien being how it pulls in the resources from the earth in order to bring that into the world. That's the 3rd level. And then deeper than that. So deeper than the body, deeper than the aura, deeper than the soul, we arrive at the core star. The core star is literally, it looks like a star. It's about 3 fingers above your belly button, deep, deep, deep inside. There's no more line going on. There's no central line. It is a star. It is not connected to anything. It is just a pulsating star made of your divine essence. It never stops. It not only survives your physical death, but it goes deeper than even your soul. It is a deeper level of your being than your soul. We could call it like the pure spirit level, but divine essence, basically. It is your individuated God essence. And the way that level works is the core star in you is this pulsation of rays of light. And at the spirit level, your only desire, your deepest pleasure is to create. You know, like made in the image of God, extensions of God. We are creators. So it's like we're creating things all the time, whether in your body, whether in another form, whether as a planet, whether as a cloud, whatever, we are creating. And when we're in this human body, we create and it goes through these levels, right? All the way up to becoming a physically created thing like a apple pie or whatever, a lasagna or a piece of work or a 30-year career in the government, like whatever it is that you've created. And that's the natural functioning of the core star. We're like emanating light, seeking to create. And this is the thing. The goal of all that is to create more light. Your essence, your individuated essence, has no other desire than to create more light. In order for it to do that, these creations that have come all the way to physical form then need to be contemplated and brought back into the core star. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Some of us would create things and then we're like, oh, that's not really that. It's not really that good, or I could have done better, or da, 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 and we kind of throw them out. We throw out the creations instead of really taking the time to contemplate them, bring them back in, learn from the experience that we had, heal whatever came up through the experience instead of trying to run away from it, bring it all the way back at the level of the soul. The soul had an intent to create that, and through that, and then finally all the way back into the core star. And when it comes back into the core star, more individuated God essence has been created, more light has been created. So that's, in a nutshell, that's the core star. So it's got beams coming out, it's got beams coming back in, and it's deep, near the plexus area, but it's like a little bit lower than the plexus, deeper. And that is where we're going to go tonight. It's been a while since we've been there, so I'm very excited about this because our meditations deep into the core star were very profound moments. And please do connect to your core star on a daily basis if you can, even if it's just for 5 minutes. It's like a practice of coming back to your essence, coming back to a level in you that's so deep that it transcends your body, your mind, your emotions, even your incarnation, your soul. It's deeper than all of that. It's the ultimate resting, expansive space you can go in. So let's see how our feminine and masculine energies feel about receiving a dose, a dose of divine essence. Yeah, cool. To you who has seen this first part of the call on YouTube, if you are interested in working with us and would like to join the program and get to participate to the meditations, reach out. The information is in the description below.